The South Kongress podcast is a lifestyle show that sometimes crosses over into mature territory. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests who come from different backgrounds and experiences. Listener discretion is advised.
There we go. Gunther, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first thing, where would you say your kind of sports heavy approach comes from as far as how you pursue your career?
Yeah, my influence, like when I got my coach was a European wrestler from Austria. He wrestled under Otto Wanz, still in the tournaments in Vienna and Germany, and that was always like a more sports focused style, competition focused style. So I just got taught that way from the get-go, and then throughout my career, I always took my influence mostly from Japanese wrestling in the 90s, All Japan, and that was obviously very sports focused presentation, and I think that just stuck with me because I could really identify with that, I guess, because I played football for, I don't know, from age 6 on until I was 16. So it was my whole youth. I was in basically competition, if that makes sense. So I could, I think, pretty well naturally connect with representing that approach.
Now, when you say football, you're talking about your football or my football?
I'm talking about the real football.
There we go. Okay. All right. No doubt, no doubt. With that said, you being influenced by Japanese wrestlers primarily, are there a few names like from that era in the 90s you'd like to throw out?
I mean, yeah, the obvious ones that were there, like you had the four pillars, like especially Kobashi Kawada, Stan Hansen, Terry Gordy, Gary Albright, yeah, and many more. I think if the educated fan watches my matches, he can pretty much pick a lot of the things I do and put them to the
Absolutely.
the wrestler that does that. So the influence, I think, is pretty obvious.
Even most recently is yesterday, in your match with Balor. One thing that separates you from a lot of people, not just in WWE, but just on TV in general, you utilize a lot of different finishers, a lot of ways to finish matches. Is that something that you came up with? Is that a producer thing, a Triple H thing? Like, where does that really come from as far as you implementing that into what you do?
I think I just kind of always did that. Also in the indies already, I would always mix it up because I feel like every match is different and every match needs a different approach and every match has a different story. And I'm not a big fan of just squeezing a lot of stuff into matches for the sake of it. I rather try to keep the focus on a few things and make it understandable and make it simple so people can follow it. And yeah, whatever makes sense. It totally depends on the opponent. I guess against somebody like Finn Balor yesterday, he's obviously, there's a difference in height and weight. So putting a sleeper hold on him and putting my whole weight on his back is a very logical thing, while lifting him up and giving him the chance to use his athleticism to escape or counter that is less logic. So that was my approach to that. So that's how I usually go about all the matches I have.
You talked about every match, being different. You wanted to implement your style. Some of your real standout matches, especially in WWE, have been last night with the Finn Balor, have been with a Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, have been with the Dragunov. Is there any type of special pride that you take in having these really interesting matches with smaller guys?
I would say I take pride into just getting really good matches with everybody I step in the ring with, and trying to get the best out of every opponent I got. That's something I would pride myself with, because that's the challenge for a really good professional wrestler, and especially for a champion as the Intercontinental Champion, for example, in that division. It was obviously my responsibility to make every title match exciting, interesting, and make it stand out in a different way than the match I had before. And that doesn't necessarily mean just doing more or focusing more on action. It's just telling a different story and just adapting to different style, having a different pace in the matches. Depending on the opponent, different stuff makes sense.
Was there a moment during that Intercontinental title run, a specific moment where you were like, oh, this thing is different. Like, this is special. This is something. Was there one moment to point out to, a few moments?
So when you're in the midst of it, when you are the guy doing all of that, it's way less exciting for yourself than it is for everybody else watching. And it shouldn't be as exciting for me as for everybody else, because I'm the one executing it, and I gotta approach it with focus and a cool mind to get the best out of it. Looking back at it now, for me personally, besides from the really good matches, like wrestling matches, like with Sheamus or the three-way we had, or even the last match with Sami at WrestleMania, for example, I would say the matches I had with Miz were something that was very important for me, because I got a very particular style about me, and I've always been very focused on staying true to that throughout my career, regardless the environment I'm in. And Miz is the total opposite of me. Like, it's 100% the other side of professional wrestler than I am. And I was really proud of the matches we had to get to those really competitive, dramatic matches that just got the people ate it up. They were there for it, and he was a great counterpart for me. And also I think with Miz, what was really important for me, that when it came to the work on the microphone, the segments building up to the matches, that was just something where Miz was a fantastic counterpart, because he's one of the best in doing that ever. On the microphone, he's maybe the most versatile talent the company has. That was a big challenge for me, and I felt very proud when I fulfilled those expectations.
The internet is going to be so upset that you complimented Miz. Just, was it one thing that's different about you from your time before WWE and even your early days in WWE, a very clear transformation in your physique? Was that something that you felt was necessary? Was that something that you felt maybe solidified what you were trying to present? And was it just something that kind of happened naturally? What was the real thought process and motivation there?
It was my decision. Nobody ever in WWE told me to change anything. I just thought, I never saw myself being on the main roster. I always felt like I'm not gonna fit in there. It's not I can do what I can do best. Nobody does it better than me, and that's what I have to offer. Like, I'm not that kind of wrestler that comes out of a system that something doesn't work and next week I have a new character. That won't happen in my case, because I'm myself. So I always questioned if I could be, if that would even be a possibility. Once I signed a main roster deal and moved over to the States, I just thought it's on me now to show up there and bring a different version of me, like a evolved version of myself. Because it's just different if you wrestle on the indies or even NXT UK, which is a product that is going to be watched by the more hardcore audience, the more knowledgeable audience, and they totally get that romantic wrestling aspect about a beer belly guy that just beats people up because it's just been the case like in Japan for so long. All like Stan Hansen, Terry Gordy, all those guys that didn't have those bodybuilder physiques. They were just big, large, heavy dudes that hit really hard. I always thought that wouldn't transcend well with the audience that you can reach on the main roster, where it's literally just in the eye of the mainstream public. And I just wanted to bring the best version of myself.
Was there ever any doubt? Again, you talk about I am me, I'm who I present, nobody else is like me. When you were getting towards the main roster, or even, spending a little bit of time at NXT here in the States, was there any doubt in your mind that what you presented would translate?
No, I knew like once I get the chance to be me, then it will work out, because it worked out everywhere. And I think it's easy to relate to. It's easy to think it's authentic, and people can really lose themselves in my matches or in my promos, because I think it doesn't seem too far away from real life. My worry was always more before that, if I would get the chance to do that would be the only worry I would have had.
Was it your time in Progress in particular that caught WWE's eye, or have you ever been told specifically like what they saw, or a match they saw, or a feud they saw that really put you like on the map for them?
I did a tryout with them in 2012 already, I think. That was horrible.
Right.
Because I was not in no way, shape, or form ready for it. But then afterwards, I don't know. I would say mostly, first of all, it was the work that we did at WXW in Germany that caught WWE's attention, because we just really started to professionalize the operation we had going there, and we had a lot of people coming over that used to work in WWE or had a big career, and just to feed off their knowledge. And then the shows got better, and like somebody that's in the business and he's like observing companies and how they run their business, it's pretty easy for them to understand what the approach is. I think that caught interest, and then obviously it was always one of the top guys in WXW. I think that's what really caught their eye, and then I just kept going on the indies, and I think that just accelerated. I think I was on their radar for a while, and I wouldn't be surprised if my mainstay in Progress, one of the reasons for that was already at the WWE interest, because they had a working relationship, like looking back to it. But it was an important time for me to be out there in the Wild West of independent wrestling and prove myself.
Absolutely. So the Intercontinental title run, 600 plus days, all these amazing matches, and you used to state like in promos, the prestige of this thing is what I'm trying to build up. Even though the World Heavyweight title doesn't have a direct lineage, it does, right? Like we know what it is and what it came from. We know what it looks like, what it's meant to be. Whereas the Intercontinental title was, something that you helped to solidify. What would being World Heavyweight Champion mean to you? And are you looking forward to doing the same thing or doing something different with this title if you win it?
Well, if I win it, it's going to be the greatest accomplishment of my career. I mean, it's what it says, the World Heavyweight Champion. I think that's the highest prize, the greatest prize that there is to achieve or to win. And obviously, like, if that's the case, then I'm gonna give it my best to hold on to it as long as possible, because that's what we're all doing it for. We all do it to become a champion eventually one day and be on top and represent the company and be the face of a brand and be the face of professional wrestling to a certain degree. And that's big responsibility, but also big privilege. And but that's all secondary now, because I have a match on Saturday against Damian Priest, and that's where my focus is right now. Got to be successful there, and then I can focus on what will I do with this.
I understand that you're super focused, that you're really locked in. Biggest match of your life coming up. So my final question for you is this. With that looming, what's one thing you want to say to Stokely Hathaway?
To Stokely Hathaway, I wish he wouldn't have left. I think he's a very entertaining guy, very funny. Spent some time with him in Wolf. And yeah, I'm glad he's doing well, and I'm glad he's successful in what he's doing. And like I said, I wish he would have stayed, because I think he would have been a great part of our product right now.
Because you choked a guy out last night, I thought you might be a bit more aggressive to him, but hey, positivity, right?
Of course.
I really appreciate your time.
No reason to be mad.
There you go. Best of luck to you this weekend. I'm looking forward to it, all right?
Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
All right.